guys, Derek here. Welcome back to the channel. We are here to watch another episode of The Mandalorian. This is Season 3, Episode 4. I don't know what the title is right away, but last episode, we accidentally joined a cult. Kind of, on Boca Tan's part. She's got nowhere to go. Her home is destroyed, and so Mando took her to the cave. And she joined the cult. She joined the Children of the Watch. Now that she's got nowhere to go, and they've both bathed in the waters of Mandalore, and I'm very curious where that's gonna lead them next, right? Because she's having a lot of her like thoughts and perceptions of what reality is be shifted in the last few weeks, right? Like all the myths that she thought were stupid and like not applicable to her current life have been thrown in her face and shown to be real. And so she's got a lot of things to think about regarding herself, regarding Mandalore, regarding the future of Mandalore, and the past of Mandalore. So I'm very curious to see like what she's gonna do. And what is going to happen with Grogu and what's going to happen with Mando, because I'm very curious. We have yet to see the flashback of Grogu being taken from the Jedi Temple, so I'm curious if we get that eventually. I mean, we'll get it eventually, but I'm just curious when it's going to happen. But then the other big storyline that happened last episode was Dr. Pershing and the comms officer from Moff Gideon's ship. It was kind of like a mini episode of Andor, a little bit, where, you know, he got all his equipment that he would have needed to restart his, like, cloning operation, or, like, yeah, kind of like his science operation. And then she took it and threw him under the bus. And I think she's still working for Moff Gideon. All I know is I am unreasonably attracted to that woman. Like, she's a bad person, probably in this show, but you know, I'll risk it all. No, either way, I'm very excited jumping in this next episode. So before we do that, if you end up enjoying my reaction, please leave a like on the video. It means a lot to me and helps my channel grow a lot. If you're new here or you find yourself coming back often, hit subscribe, ring the bell so you're notified when I upload. And then if you want to see the full uncut version of this reaction, consider supporting me on Patreon. That means the absolute world. Sometimes I post these reactions a little bit early on Patreon as well, so if you're interested in that, consider checking it out. But otherwise, let's jump into another episode of The Mandalorian. Intense music playing. Training. Got it. She's like, I'm better at this than all of you. She probably is. I think probably the two most capable fighters here might be her and the Armor, and then maybe Mando, or her and Mando and then the Armor. All I know is I'm like 95% sure that she is the most capable one here, and she feels a little out of place, I think. Yes, train with the rocks, buddy. Are you creating a design? Is that a creature or a rock? A creature. I thought he was using the Force on him.
Put down the rocks, kid. It's time that you learn with the other Foundlings.
He's like, no. Sounds stupid. He was attracting all these crabs.
Next challenger.
What's he gonna do? How's he gonna wrestle these kids? This toddler is gonna fight this other kid.
I am his ward. Proceed.
Why doesn't he wear a helmet?
He is too young to speak the creed, and so too young to wear a helmet.
Okay.
Then he's too young to fight.
Nuh-uh. He'll beat your ass.
One does not speak unless one knows. Is that not the creed?
Well, I know.
Perhaps this lesson is for you then.
Yeah, you punk little kid. Who do you think you are? This is gonna cover your entire arm.
Squeeze your fist to launch the darts. You'll be fine.
He doesn't know how to fire darts?
He's got this. Trust me.
This is his first time ever hearing about darts.
Begin!
Hey, rude.
It's okay. Show them.
Do some flips and stuff.
Begin! 3 points.
Got him. You suck, kid.
Not me.
No, that was Luke Skywalker that taught
One
him.
doesn't speak unless one knows.
That's definitely his kid. They got the same paint job.
Great job, kid.
Okay, Han Solo. Oh, a dragon! Kid's gonna get snatched by a dragon. Oh, snap. It's gotta be his kid. Man, they live on a dangerous planet, first of all. But specifically where they have their camp seems liable to be attacked by monsters on the daily. Wait, why is she sputtering? They only got so much juice?
It always gets away.
Except nah. Is that Grogu in the ship? Who's in the ship?
The nest.
It flew a long way.
This is a rapid paced episode.
The mountains are too high. If we use jetpacks, the beast will hear.
You might as well climb. Okay.
You are too young to join them.
He's pretty capable. He's like
Come,
super good at
Grogu.
everything.
If you wish to become a Mandalorian, there is much work to attend to.
Little dude just waddles.
This is the Forge. It is the heart of Mandalorian culture.
Yep. Forge is cool stuff.
We all begin
What is
as
she making?
raw ore.
Mini jetpack for him?
We refine ourselves through trials and adversity.
Little mini helmet for him? Or just like tiny little baby armor.
The Forge
Yo.
can reveal weaknesses.
Ooh, flashback is gonna happen. PTSD with those sparks. Oh yes, show it to me. Who took you? Kelleran.
The elevator! Get the youngling to Kelleran! Go!
I don't remember who Kelleran is. Oh, look at little baby Yoda. He's just a tiny little thing now.
Everything's gonna be all right, kid.
Who is this guy? Is this Kelleran? I recognize the actor.
Cross them.
Is this the actor that plays Jar Binks? Is that Ahmed Best? Because that would be rad.
Don't let them escape.
He's pretty good. I'm guessing he's Kellerin. I mean, we know he's not with him long term, so... Yeah, go in that hole. That's a whole ass train coming. See ya. Oh, there's the rock. Can you make it to that landing platform?
We're gonna meet up with some friends of mine. But hold on, it's gonna be a bumpy landing.
If this is Ahmed Best, that's so fun that they gave him a live action role. Let's go, kid.
What about the others?
There are no others.
Everybody out! Move it! Move it! Take the ship. It's fueled and ready to go. Come on!
Damn. Is this Padme's old ship? Looks like one of Padme's ships. It's like royal. And those people look like royal guards. Did something go wrong in hyperspace? Dang, so we know who rescued him now. Kellerin. I'll have to see at the end of the episode
It is a tradition in our culture for each
who played
to
him, but I
donate
think it
a
was...
small portion of what they earn to the Foundling.
I think it was Ahmed Best. What is it? A hat?
Mandalorian steel shall keep you safe as you grow stronger.
Just put it on his chest? Neat. Gang. He gets a silver dollar to protect his chest. God, this ship is so cool. Watch them get to the top of this nest and realize this dragon already ate the kid.
The target is on the top of this peak. If we tuck in under this outcropping, we sleep out of line of sight and climb at first light.
Dang, Bocatan's so helpful and capable.
How do you eat when other people are around?
You don't. When you get your food, you go off to find a place where you can take off your helmet.
That's dumb.
You are the leader of the war party. You have the honor of staying by the fire. This is the way.
This is the way, I guess. Kind of lonely, though. She just wants to eat with some buds, you know?
Let's move.
Alright, here we go. Man, he is just fully loaded up with so much gear. That's a lot to carry up the side of a mountain. See who's the best climber. Just see the bones of dead Mandalorian children.
It's not here. Let's find the kid.
I see a heat source there.
What if it's a little baby dragon?
He's my son.
Okay. It's gonna be a little baby dragon. It's not gonna be the kid.
Ragnar! Ragnar!
Ragnar? Rothbrook? Oh, yep, called it. Oh, and there's that guy. Just gotta pretend. Let me just puke up this child real quick. Oh, he just jumped right in him. The kid's not even covered in goo or anything. Oh. Oh. Some of her armor came off, though. Yeah, you knucklehead, you screwed things up because you're too gung-ho. Are they shooting nets? What are they shooting? Cables? Yeah, trying to clip its wings. Da 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 ba da ba ba da ba. Damn. That thing got by the giant alligator turtle.
This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way.
Maybe he won't hate him as much because he saved his son. Mandalorians bang with the helmets on, baby. He had to have a kid somehow. Yeah. That kid got straight up eaten. It's got to be a traumatic event in his life.
Bocatan Kreese, you have honored your house and all of Mandalore. You have done the highest honor of the Creed, saving a foundling.
You are elevated in status. This is the way. Oh. Yeah, little dragon things. You fit all three of those on board the ship? That's crazy.
You're in need of a repair.
Oh yeah, because she dropped it in midair. She gets a fancy new one.
I can replace what's missing, but not with its modern refinements. Shall I inlay the signet of the Night Owl?
Back to the old school, baby. Nah, she's gonna say do the Mythosaur.
Would it be acceptable to wear one pauldron of the Night Owl and another with the Mythosaur?
Dang, Skippy. It's so cool.
What would you say if I told you I saw one?
Ooh, she's telling her. A Mythosaur.
I would say you are very lucky. It is a noble vision.
No, like a real thing.
I mean a real one. Beneath the living waters on Mandalore.
When you choose to walk the way of the Mandalore, you will see many things.
But it was real.
It was indeed.
This is the way.
This is the way. She doesn't believe her, but this is the way. Oh, wow. Come on. Okay, who was that? Ahmed Best, it was! That's Jar Jar Binks. That's so cool. Okay, we finally have a question that we've been long questioning answered. I feel like since the moment that we found out that Grogu was Force sensitive and that he used to be at the Jedi Temple on Coruscant, we have been wondering who rescued him. And a lot of people have thought maybe it was Mace Windu, maybe it was the librarian, maybe it was this person, this person, this person. You know, it could have been many people. They're like, maybe it's no one important. Turns out it was Jar Jar Binks. If you I don't blame you for not recognizing immediately who that was. I feel like only the deep cut hardcore fans of Star Wars might recognize that man outside of his animated form. But Ahmed Best did the voice and the, I guess, live action capture. He was the stand-in. Like he just wore a helmet or hat thing when he was on set on the prequels, but that is Jar Jar Binks. That is so cool. That's so interesting. Man, this has got to be such a gratifying experience for him because he had such a rough time with the prequels. Like he had a great time filming them. Don't get me wrong that he I guess loved filming them, loved being part of the Star Wars universe, but then just like Jake Lloyd with the prequels, Ahmed Best received a ton of hate online for his role of Jar Jar Binks because people didn't like Jar Jar Binks. I guess, you know, he was very much a kiddie character, a character focused towards the children, and the people who weren't children hated him, and were not just mean about the character. They didn't just dislike the character, they like sent him death threats. Like the Star Wars fandom was so cruel to Ahmed Best that he contemplated killing himself. So the fact that he gets to go from that to being a Jedi, like not just like being in the Star Wars universe, but being probably the pinnacle of what you can be cast as in the Star Wars universe is a Jedi. He gets to be a Jedi, and he gets to be the Jedi that saved Grogu, who is like one of the most beloved Star Wars characters at this point. Like everyone loves Grogu. So you get to go from being Jar Jar Binks to being what was it, Kelleran or Kelleran, Jedi Master Kelleran, who saves Grogu and is alive as far as we're aware. You know, maybe we might see more of that backstory. That would be very interesting. Kind of opens up a whole possibility of storytelling about Jedi Knight or Jedi Master Kelleran. That's very interesting, and it's so cool that Ahmed Best gets to portray that character. When they, not gonna lie, when they first opened the door, it took me like a quarter second to realize it wasn't Mace Windu. I was like, oh, like it took me a half second. I was like, oh my god, but I realized like wouldn't have made much sense if it was Mace Windu. But then as soon as I realized it was Ahmed Best, I was like, oh dang, dude, he's got two lightsabers, they're different colors. That's very interesting. And he seems very proficient. Like he was better at defending himself against those clones than like all those other Jedi that were inside were. You know, makes sense why they were like, get him to him, like he's super good. Yeah, it's so cool. So cool to see him. So dope that he rescued him and he's still alive, and you know, presumably he has a tragic ending, because when we encounter Grogu for the first time, in Mando. He is, he's in the possession of a gang, like a bounty gang, and Ahmed Best's character is nowhere to be found. So I presume there isn't a happy ending to his character, especially since Grogu blocked all those memories out of his brain. And it was only brought back via meditation with Luke Skywalker and now some PTSD at the Forge. But yeah, otherwise this episode, some major things that happen. One, there trainings of the Foundlings. So Grogu is starting his first baby steps into becoming a Mandalorian, where he's, training with the other Foundlings, showing them what he can do. It does look fairly hokey when he does all these jumps and stuff. It very much looks like, when Yoda was jumping around in the original trilogy, not the prequel trilogy, because the prequel trilogy, obviously Yoda in the prequel trilogy was almost exclusively, potentially like all the way exclusively CGI. So he looked a lot more natural, jumping around, doing flips, things like that. So it makes sense if they're going the puppet route that he doesn't look quite that natural jumping around. Very much looks like a puppet that's jumping around. I'm not entirely sure which option I prefer. It's like I like the novelty of being like, hey, yeah, it's a puppet like the original trilogy. But part of me also is like, you know what? I would also prefer it to look better. Every time he does one of these flips, it doesn't look good. Like, it looks kind of dumb and hokey, if I'm honest. But it is what it is. That's, it's not a huge deal. But he beats this kid in darts because he's super good, and then this kid gets snatched by a dragon thing, like a bird dragon, and he just gets stolen. And the Mandos have to go rescue this child, and Boca Tan leads this war party, and they have to climb up the side of a mountain. But then they're like chilling, and she's like, "How do we eat?" Like, how do we eat without taking our helmets off? And they're like, you don't. Like, you get your food and then you scatter. Like, you go and you eat alone, where you can take your helmet off. And I don't like that. I think it sucks. Like, if you've been watching the channel, you already know that I am very much a let them take their helmets off kind of guy, right? Like, I think the requirement that they keep their helmets on all the time is kind of stupid. And it just, like, I don't know, if their whole thing is like being part of a creed and having community and all these things, like, historically throughout the entire history of mankind, often the biggest time of community, like the most common time that people have community with each other, it's when they're eating. You grow and you bond with people when you can sit down, eat some food, and chat. That's like quintessential humanity. And granted, I guess technically Bocatan is not a human. She is a Mandalore. She is a humanoid-esque figure. Because I guess technically none of the people in the planet are humans, as we would classify them. But or at least she's not an earthling. She might be a human. But like that's quintessential people. Is you sit down and you eat some food with some buds and you grow in community. Like it just seems very lonely that they don't eat together. Like she takes her helmet off to eat and she's just looking around like she looks disappointed and a little bummed. like she wants, if she's gonna join this cult, she wants to make some friends. But it is what it is. They get up there and they go to rescue this kid, and Paz Vizsla is so gung-ho because his son is the one that got kidnapped. I think some people called this during episode 1, they were like, they got a similar paint job, and he looks like a proud dad. So the fact that it is his son, and he named his son Ragnar. Ragnar Vizsla is the kid's name. Very interesting. But he's a little too gung-ho. And then the freaking bird dragon thing shows up and like pukes up the kid. Like he just had him in his mouth, just chilling. And he's gonna feed him to his little baby birds. This kid was remarkably dry as hell when he came out of this guy's mouth. Like not even covered in goo or nothing. No mouth saliva. I don't know. It is what it is. But they spook the dragon thing, and they have to rescue this kid. Boca Tan loses his shoulder piece. And then they eventually clip this thing's wings and save the kid, and then that thing gets eaten by the giant turtle alligator thing. Like just, there's always a bigger fish. You know, classic Star Wars. There's always a bigger fish from Qui-Gon Jinn, episode 1, obviously. And then Boca Tan, yeah, she has to get a new shoulder piece, and she brings up the idea of the Mythosaur, and she's like, I saw one. And the armor definitely does not believe her. She's like, it's very interesting that like she's joining a cult that is so like in tune and ingrained in like these deep, you know, classic Mandalorian beliefs and myths and stories and stuff. But when presented with the idea of like one of the oldest myths of the Mandalores is the Mythosaur, the armor is like kind of brushes it away and is like, oh, that's a nice vision. Like straight up just like not patronizing her, but like she's like, no, it was real. She's like, this is the way. It's like, okay, bitch, just like believe her for a second. Maybe she'll tell Mando next episode and he'll be like, oh shit, like let's go check on that thing. Like that's for real. Like he seems to want to believe a lot of the old school stuff. So maybe he might be more receptive to it, but it's just very interesting that the armorer herself, like the one who is like so gung-ho about all these rules and regulations and old school Mandalorian, you know, this is the way, you know, so much so that she made Mando go back to the living waters to bathe in them, to be, you know, cleansed of his sins, so to speak. You know, that person is the one that's like brushing away the idea of the Mythosaur being real and being alive. And Bo-Katan is like, yo, I saw this thing. Like that, it was real and I saw it. But so it's very interesting because she's kind of diving in deeper to this thing, and I wonder if maybe she'll not become radicalized or like disinclined to be part of the group or anything like that. But it's very interesting how like maybe she'll recognize that they're not as cool, or not cool. They're not as authentic as they present themselves to be. If that makes sense. You know, maybe her and Mando, whether that be through friendship, through, you know, strategic alliance, or through romance maybe, can forge a new path for the Mandalorians. That is a mix of old school and new school. You know, I keep coming back to that mix, that compromise, because I want them to be able to take off their helmets. But, you know, I think it's clear that the actual Creed, including the armor and her group, are not as perfect as they present themselves to be, you know. And I'm mainly basing this off of the her dismissal of the Mythosaur. Granted, it is a tall tale, but you know, it's real. And she gets the pauldron with the is that a pauldron? She got a shoulder piece with the signet on it, so that's pretty rad. It doesn't look as good as her other armor, which is a bummer. Like her blue and gray and black and, you know, all that night owl armor looks way better, honestly. Like Boca Tan, other than Mando, Boca Tan is the best looking Mandalorian aesthetically, in terms of like the way her armor looks, the way it fits and everything. Like she's working that armor. So I don't want her to look like the rest of them. I wonder if it's like old school and not as good as the armor she has. I mean, it is Beskar, which is like pretty good and valuable, but the armor said like it's not as modern as your stuff. So maybe she meant modern in design, but maybe she meant modern in like capability. I don't know. Oh, and then Grogu got a little giant silver dollar to protect his chest. It's just so funny. That's his armor. Like, it's not even like, I don't know if the armor realizes like how big he's gonna get. Like, he's not gonna get much bigger. So he's already got like the Beskar chainmail across his chest. Like, what's the point in forging him this giant circle? Like, she's like, this, you will grow with this, and it's like that. I mean, he's not gonna grow like 6 feet tall. Like, what did you make him? Like, it's literally just a quarter that you're gonna glue to his chest. Like, what's the point of that? But you know, he's taking his first steps to being a Mandalorian. He can't wear a helmet yet until he learns to talk. Maybe by the time he learns to talk, Mando will have left the Creed, and then he doesn't have to wear a helmet, because that would be gang. You know, that's one of the things that I very much think they might make him wear a helmet for like one episode, and then for story reasons they'll remove it, because again, Grogu, Baby Yoda, is the type of character that is so profitable when it comes to toys and all that other jazz, that they are not going to keep his face hidden by a helmet long term. You know, they might do it for a little bit to be able to sell some more toys with the helmet, but they're not going to keep that long term. Like, I mean, you could say, oh, they're keeping Pedro Pascal's face hidden. That's not remotely the same thing. Like, not even close. Like, no one, I mean, some people are watching the show because it's Pedro Pascal, but like, they're not watching it specifically to like see his face. Like, their enjoyment of the show is not going to change, and the enjoyment of the character is not going to change whether you see Pedro's face consistently or not. People's enjoyment of Baby Yoda definitely will change if you consistently hide his face. And he would honestly just look dumb with a helmet. Like, there's no point. Like, he's too cute to hide his face behind a helmet. So my guess is that they will delay him talking for as long as possible. And then once he does talk, he'll get the helmet for 1, maybe 2 episodes, and then something will happen story-wise to make Mando and Grogu ditch the Creed, or maybe the Creed will ditch the whole helmet thing, and then we'll move on from there. But yeah, again, the toy sales are too profitable. Disney, as much as directors and all that jazz will say that these companies don't interfere, this will be a decision that Disney interferes with. They'll be like, no. Like, we make $1 gazillion from this child. We're not going to let you hide his face permanent styles. Like, it's just not going to happen. Like, it's so different than a Mandalorian action figure where you can also have an uncovered face version versus, Baby Yoda. You don't take Baby Yoda and then put his cute face behind a mask. Like, it arguably takes away the whole appeal of the character. But I don't know. This episode was dope. I think those are all my thoughts on it, though. Definitely let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Did you recognize Ahmed Best as Jar Jar right away? You could hear it in his voice a little bit when he says some stuff. You could hear the little twinge at the end where he's like, oh, like I don't know how to explain it. Like, when he talks, there's the tiniest bit of like a raise of octave at the end that you can pick up when you're hearing Jar Jar speak, and then you could just barely hear hints of it when he's talking in his regular voice, which is very, very cool. But yeah, let me know what you thought of his character. What do you think is going to happen next with that Jedi and Grogu? What do you think is going to happen next with Mando and Grogu and Boca Tan? And, you know, what do you think her thought process is right now? I'm very curious to see what you guys think. But otherwise, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my reaction, please leave a like on the video. It means a lot to me and it helps my channel grow. If you're new here or you find yourself coming back often, hit subscribe, ring the bell so you're notified when I upload, and then if you want to see the full uncut version of this reaction, consider supporting me on Patreon. That is linked in the description down below. Sometimes I post these reactions a little early on Patreon as well, so if you're interested in that, consider checking it out. But otherwise, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.